Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Ruach Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations and much love to the rest of you sincere Aki and pushing the word in truth and sincerity. This is the cleric Azar coming at you with another lesson. I am continuing in my lot to bring you my ongoing series from excerpts of Hollywood, This Factory of Perverseness. Another observation of predictive programming, how art imitates life and vice versa. Just a reminder, the purpose of my videos is to show correlations. A correlation is an observation of a mutual relationship or connection between two or more things. I use movies to extract or extrapolate a narrative. I'm not glorifying the Hollywood culture or life. I have a wide knowledge of films, whether they be foreign or domestic, and I just use them as an example to bring out those similarities and those correlations. To quote Cecil B. DeMille, the greatest source of material for motion pictures is the Bible. I call this lesson Job and His New Heart. The image I have on display is a film I watched in my past. Of course, being this truth, I reflected on this particular movie. This movie was released on March 6, 1992. The title of it is The Lawnmower Man, directed by Brett Leonard. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the elder apostle Gabar mention this movie on several occasions. I've been dying to do this lesson for quite some time. And if you haven't seen this movie, I want to say real quick, spoiler alert, basically, this is actually from a Stephen King short story that was actually altered, but it's basically a story about this this program or a scientist who develops this system that can utilizes virtual reality, and this is before virtual reality really became famous, and back in the early 90s, and we didn't have systems that as advanced as we have them today. I mean, this is 30 years ago, almost. But basically, this lawnmower man, which was played by Jeff Fahey, he wasn't as smart as he eventually got, but he got smart as a result of this system that this man created, played by Pierce Brosnan. And he enhanced this person's cognitive abilities, and he got almost a genius level, to the point where he developed telekinesis and telepathy. Really good movie. I own the extended cut as well as the director's cut of this particular film, and I've only watched it on one occasion. I've watched it in a while, but when I went to go do the research for this video, I found some other extra little tidbits to it that that you brothers may find somewhat interesting, and you may want to do a little research on it yourself. I'm going to bring out some trivia from IMDb first, and then I'm going to go into some scriptures. One of the things I like to just point out certain things that I found, which is kind of interesting. First, I want to look at this tagline here on the film poster where it says, God made him simple, science made him a god. Okay, I'm going to go into that later on. All right, because I look at that statement and I see it's almost blasphemy in itself. You know, how the Most High makes somebody simple, but you know, the science of today making a man a god. Okay, but in this particular sense of the movie, it kind of makes sense, but it's nowhere near the level of the Most High. Here's some historical trivia. Let me get into it on IMDb. New Line Cinema had obtained the rights to the Stephen King short story, The Lawnmower Man, and the producers also had an unrelated script called Cyber God. For economical reasons, they simply placed King's title on the production of Cyber God, and early promotional material with that claim even went public. King was furious at this abuse of his name, and he sued the studio to have his name and title removed from the film and production. The studio refused, but was eventually ordered to pay $10,000 in full profits to King. Okay. Yeah, because actually it kind of makes sense more to be called Cyber God when you think about it, when you see the film. But the Lawnmower Man is more appropriate once you see the movie, because that's what this character named Joe, played by Jeff Fahey, was doing. He was actually a lawnmower man. He was he had a remedial duty, and later on, you know, he became really, really powerful as a result of this treatment that the actor played by Pierce Brosnan had induced on him. Okay, also, here's in the IMDb, it reads, it was discovered through FBI tapes that this was former Waco cult leader David Koresh's favorite movie. And I think I saw this at one point in the early, in the mid-90s when the whole David Koresh situation happened out in Waco. I think I heard that as well. And and that's kind of interesting. Also, I found interesting, and I got to bring this up again, and I had to do some research on this as well, is that several of the symbols Job sees flying at him during his first VR treatment are demon excavation seals taken from the infamous Key of Solomon. Now, the Key of Solomon is not related to the actual King Solomon. Is actually something else, something a little bent on Satanism. But I got to look at these particular symbols that are flying through them in the VR treatment. You're just so infatuated with the technology that was being used and the computer technology that was utilized in this particular film that it just went, right through my head, right over my head, I should say. Salakia. Also, when Dr. Angelo, I guess that's the guy who is played by Pierce Brosnan, he stimulated Job's brain using virtual reality. The symbols that fly at Job at close inspection are Kabbalistic mystical symbols with ancient Hebrew writing around them. I'm not sure if that's the actual Hebrew or the ancient Hebrew that was used by the Hebrew Israelites, but I got to take a closer look at it. And if anyone does take a chance to see this film, hey, please place your interpretation of what they say in the comment section, and I'll be really interested in seeing that. Okay, but very interesting that this particular character is named Job, because Job is an actual representation of you Israelites, you blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos that make up the 12 tribes of Israel, the lost tribes of Israel, I should say. Okay, and the reason why I'm naming this video is Job and his new heart is because it just goes against this tagline about the Most High made him simple, science made him a god, and basically that's what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, wants to do. He wants to implement his new world order and impose his particular science, which is the Charagma, or aka the MOTB, the RFID microchip, the mark of the beast on you Jakes. Okay, and basically, if you Jakes, a lot of Jakes are going to take it, but Jake's going to be the ones pretty much marketing this thing to the whole world, because the whole world's going to necessarily follow in what Jake is doing. That's what they've always been doing. Okay, but we must understand that this particular wisdom is going to take us away from worship of the Most High. And we should even know that even without the mark, the particular wisdom that was bestowed onto us and brainwashed into us was actually foolishness to the Most High. When you go into 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 19, it speaks about this worldly wisdom, that it is foolishness to the Most High. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 19, it reads, "For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High, for it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness." And again, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Okay, now, that particular scripture actually does come from Job, which is a coincidence pertaining to this particular video. When you go into Job chapter 5, verse 13, this is where it comes from. It reads, "He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong." Now, I'm going to go into the New Living Translation, and it goes a little deeper, where it says, "He traps the wise in their own cleverness, so their cunning schemes are thwarted." And that's what's going to happen with this particular New World Order that I just briefly mentioned, and with the implementation of the Charagma, or the MOTB, aka the Mark of the Beast, the RFID microchip, or Verichip, when he tries to implement his own new digital currency. Okay, the Most High is going to speed things up, and it's come back to deliver his elect. Okay, and of course, destroy Babylon the Great, aka America. All right, and it's just a real deceitful scheme that the banking elites have devised to take over the world, and it's going to not come to pass. Okay, but in this particular time, the prudent are going to be the elect that are going to understand their way, and they're going to understand this deceitful plan. Proverbs chapter 14, verses 8 backs that up. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 8, and it reads, "The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of the fools is deceit." Okay, and that's what is about to happen here. Okay, going into basically the understanding of the Most High. That's what the Charagma, the Mark of the Beast, is going to detach us from. And we must stick to that, because that's the only thing that's going to get us through this times that we're leading up to. Because knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 30 goes into, "There is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai." Okay. And basically, um, like I said earlier, this whole particular plan is going to be cast down. But I'm just going to end it on this. I always like to end my videos on a good note with some type of silver lining. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. So in other words, there is a happy ending. What we do want to be instilled with is the knowledge of the Most High, being the fact that once we're rolling upon that number, the elect will be given new bodies with a new type of mind, with law, statutes, and commandments written in the inward parts, which would be the new covenant. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 26 backs this up. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. Okay, let me read that again. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. Okay, and this is going to be the righteous heart. Okay, the righteous, and that heart is talking about the mind. Okay, all right. Jeremiah chapter 24 verse 7 came to be known as Jeremiah's heart covenant. Jeremiah 24 verse 7 reads, and I will give them an heart to know me, that I am Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and they shall be my people, and I will be their most high, or their power, for they shall return unto me with their whole heart. Okay, and that heart's talking about your mind. Okay. And this is what happened in this particular movie, where this particular lawnmower man, or Job, was at one particular level, and his mind was brought to a whole other level. All right, that's why this tagline also talks about him being made a god. Okay, but that's ultimately what's going to happen to you, blacks, Native Americans, Latinos, which make up the nation of Israel. But ultimately, it's going to first happen to the elect, being the first fruits. Okay, so I just saw that correlation. Just wanted to bring that out. I just wanted to share that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, who gives me the strength and the spirit to continue to strive and endure in these last days. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and on to the next video.